This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Rob Gronkowski from Dudes on Dudes. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You can stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you can spice things up and try some unexpected pairings like dipping chicken wonton tacos in our honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time. And this season, the only meat I'm going to grill is Dietz and Watson. I'm loving the Black Angus Dietz dogs. They're flavor-packed, and you can tell they are made with the highest quality ingredients. Sundays just got a whole lot better. Visit DietzandWatson.com/the right way to learn more about the Dietz difference.
You know, Brett Blakemore, it occurs to me that this weekend, specifically this Sunday night, Minnesota Vikings fans will be staring at the Vikings' past and 2 versions, one could say, potentially, of the Minnesota Vikings' future. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program called Bumper to Bumper. My name is Dan Barreiro. I host it. Guardsy is jetting his way to Oakland, California, where he will be on the sidelines in Berkeley, nearby Berkeley, about midnight Central Time as the Golden Gophers take on the Cal Golden Bears. Not a great team, but at least a real team compared to what the Gophers beat last week, a victory that should not even count in any sort of meaningful way when it comes to like postseason bowl activity or national championship possibilities as well. And that means Brett Blakemore's in that chair. We are going all the way till 6:30 tonight. It is a Friday football beast. There will be some A-section time at least twice during the program, at least twice during the show. But I'm thinking about the past and 2 futures. The past is obvious. On the visiting sidelines Sunday night will be, well, I think he's number 18 in Atlanta. He was number 8 here, Kirk Cousins. He is now the backup quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. By the way, keep an eye, if you would, on the hotline. Will you let me know if between now and 3:30, Chris Collinsworth gives us a call? Chris Collinsworth. You familiar with him?
I've heard of him.
Do you know the Chris Collinsworth KFAN story related to the Chad and Barreiro show?
I don't. I know that here's a guy.
He does do that a lot.
Yeah.
He's on, I'm assuming, analysis for the Sunday night game, right?
You would think.
Is it Tirico with him? I think it is.
I'd imagine.
That's Sunday night football, Vikings hosting Atlanta Falcons. It was many, many, many years ago, during the Chad and Barreiro days, that on a Friday about this time, maybe a little later, Chris Collinsworth became incensed with the content of the 2 afternoon hosts, Chad and Barreiro. He had come into town, as I recall it, he had come into town looking for, a little bit of the buzz regarding whoever the Vikings were playing and the Vikings. So he asks his limo driver or cab driver, what's the sports station in Minneapolis, St. Paul? And the guy says, well, it's AM 1130. The kids don't even know what AM is. It's a frequency. I should say it's a kind of radio that goes way back that many of us grew up in or on. And the frequency was 1130 on the AM dial. Most cars, new cars, don't even have an AM dial. They might have an FM dial. It's all become irrelevant, obviously, in the internet age. And now that you can get the free iHeartRadio app, you get whatever you want, AM, FM, PM, whatever it is, via the app, which is absolutely free and new and improved, I might add. So the cab driver puts 1130 AM on his radio. And apparently, when Collinsworth was listing, we weren't even talking about the game. I have no, maybe we were canceling the fishing opener. Maybe, who knows what. I have no recollection of what we were doing. He got hot. Chris Collinsworth got incensed. Like it was our job to fill in some of the gaps. And, you know, it's up to us. It's our obligation to give him a bit of the pulse regarding Minnesota Vikings football. So I'm asking because he could be coming into town again today. And if he is, and if he calls the hotline, tell him we actually are talking Vikings the first couple segments of this show, and will during the prediction segment as well. I think Chad and Barreiro show had a prediction segment, I think, of one sort or another. I don't think Gerbschmidt was involved in it. But regardless, you never know when he might hit the hotline out of anger that we're not. I always found it rather presumptuous that it was our job to give Chris Collinsworth what he wanted. Yeah, guy blows in from out of town, has no idea how much football we've talked all week, but he's annoyed that for the 15 minutes he's getting from the airport to his fancy hotel, we're not talking football. That's the Chris Collinsworth story. It's deep in fan lore. It would definitely be worth it. Not a chapter, but a few pages in the book whenever the book is done. The digression is over, but it's all related in a sense. Vikings past, Kirk Cousins. Vikings future, we assume that J.J. McCarthy is going to play, correct? No reason to think he's not. I know the Carson Wentz terrorists want to believe that, hey, this might be my guy's chance to redeem himself and get back on the radar. But I don't think anybody in positions of authority believe that Wentz will play or is at least slated to play unless, perish the thought, there's an injury. We'll ask Ben Gessling about this at 4:30, but we think that J.J. McCarthy will be back from paternity leave, and in fact, he will be the starting quarterback on Sunday night. But then there's the other future, or might have been future, because there are people who to this day insist that there were some in the Vikings offices who liked Michael Penix better than JJ. It wasn't a slight at JJ, but that they really were intrigued with Penix. And as we all recall, we didn't get a chance to make that pick. We would have had to move way up ahead of Atlanta, who I think was picking 8 and shocked the world. Shocked the world. You know, a few months after they make the big Cousins signing, by taking a quarterback at number 8. Former IU quarterback, then went on to the national championship game, got killed in that game against, well, J.J. McCarthy in University of Michigan. And that's the matchup. In fact, I like to think that's the reason NBC wanted this matchup this early of these two teams. So I don't really think Atlanta is viewed as a team on the brink, on the verge. Vikings coming off a great season. But I think it's got to be, we want to build this matchup. Two highly tutored young quarterbacks, now both starting. Penix began starting against us. I think Cousins started, if I'm not mistaken. But then later, it might have even been the next week, Penix took over. He's been the quarterback ever since, and he's now the guy. Only way Cousins will get on the field is if Penix gets hurt. And we obviously know that the Vikings had a lot of options. We really did. We could have brought back Sam Darnold. We chose not to. We could have brought back Danny Dimes. We chose not to. We could have signed Aaron Rodgers. Again, we chose not to. Stay tuned on whether we will regret that as the season goes on. A-Rod looked brilliant in his opener against, admittedly, not one of the greatest teams in the league, his former team, the New York Jets. So we're obviously doubling down on JJ. We love the way he finished game one. It's gotten a little thick, a little quick, I will tell you. Now we are analyzing literally every gesture, every smile, every gritting of the teeth, every statement from J.J. McCarthy as signs that he is this unshakable leader. Now, maybe he will be. I think we need probably see this thing play out a little bit. And I think some stuff we're adding more weight to than we would have if the Vikings had not come back and won the game. But that's sort of the nature of the business in 2025. We all fall into that trap from time to time. So the past and two futures. And again, it's not like the Vikings had a chance to take Penix or to choose between the two. The decision was taken out of their hands, I think, shockingly to them by what Atlanta did. I think they had a belief that we're going to get to decide. We like them both, but we're going to get to decide which way we go. And I think Penix, the difference to me largely is Penix is a much more accomplished passer because he was asked to pass a lot more than McCarthy at both Indiana and at Washington. But I think he's also viewed as a guy, he kind of is what he is to a certain extent. And if you love the way he can throw, especially deep, invest in him. You also have that tricky little, he's got 2 significant knee injuries. Now, of course, our guy's got 1. So you got to factor that in. But I think McCarthy is viewed more as the empty canvas. Well, I shouldn't say empty. Some stuff colored in, but the idea that, man, there's a lot more meat on the bone for J.J. McCarthy because at Michigan, he was not asked to be the guy throwing the ball because Michigan didn't need him to be the guy throwing the ball all the time. Who used the analogy, the North Carolina analogy? I think it was Sean Salisbury. North Carolina basketball players, how many great scorers who went on to become big-time NBA scorers, obviously starting with Michael Jordan, who weren't dominant scorers in college because that's the way Dean Smith played it. The theory being there may be a lot of potential in this guy that has just not yet been realized, as opposed to him not having it in him because no one has asked him to do what he might be able to do as a professional football player. I do think the Vikings are on the right track in not demanding too much of him from the passing game too quickly. I think that's a wise move, but it doesn't mean eventually he can't become a big-time drop-back passer. So a close look at Chris Collinsworth. If you are on your way in, I hope this, I don't know that we broke any new ground, but we did our best to redeem ourselves from the blunder that Chad and Barreiro show committed on AM radio back in the day, decades and decades ago, depriving him of the opportunity to hear the buzz about the football team that he was about to watch on, I assume it was a night game then too. Maybe too little, too late in the case of Chris Collinsworth, but we can only do what we can do. Back in just...
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21+.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time. And this season, the only meat going on the grill is Dietz and Watson. Some of my favorites are the Black Angus Dietz dogs, the Italian-style chicken sausage, and the Asiago spinach chicken sausage, just to name a few. Oh, and I love the jalapeno mustard. It's flavor-packed, and you could just tell Dietz and Watson uses the highest quality meats in every bite. Dietz and Watson was born in Philly in 1939, and they've been doing it the right way ever since. Visit DietzandWatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Bailey Zimmerman just announced his biggest tour yet, the 2026 Different Nights Same Rodeo Tour, hitting over 30 cities across the U.S. and Canada. Following his sold-out 2025 run, Bailey is bringing his electrifying live show to even bigger stages in 2026, with stops in major cities like Nashville, Boston, Atlanta, Toronto, and more. His new album, Different Nights Same Rodeo, is out now, featuring the #1 hit Backup Plan with Luke Combs, plus fan favorites like Lost with the Kid Laroi, Holy Smokes, and Holding On. The sophomore album showcases Bailey's signature blend of rock-powered country and heartfelt storytelling, making it a must-listen for fans old and new. Fans can elevate their night with VIP packages that include premium seats, exclusive merch, and access to Bailey's pre-show soundcheck party. With new music, massive energy, and a can't-miss tour on the horizon, now's the time to get your tickets. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control, without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
You want a chance to win a Vikings away game trip for 4 to the November 23rd game in Green Bay? Well, I know I do. This could be your year.
Calm down.
Visit the Minnesota Lottery booth at Vikings Kickoff Concert in the Commons Sunday, September 14th. That's this Sunday before Russell Dickerson takes the stage. To enter, Minnesota Lottery must be 18 or older to play.
Were you one of the clowns they showed on TV several times trying to be a part of the whiteout, whatever, and they had like white, I don't even know what it is, like white paint all over their bare chests? Were you one of those individuals?
I was not.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't want to subject people to that. I did. I mean, I had this underneath. I didn't have time to go home and shower. I literally just cut into town. But I had this underneath, just the normal jersey. That's the best I could do.
That's close enough.
So,
did you get like ripped for not having enough? Or
no one said anything. It was probably 90% of the people did.
I will mention something that might annoy Vikings fans, or maybe they would agree with it grudgingly. You'll love it, I think. The true, we talk a lot about when you're the fan of a visiting team and you show up here or Philadelphia or Chicago, whatever the case may be, how you might be treated. And in fact, if you go back enough years, and I don't know that this is necessarily symptomatic of all New England fans, I got a hold of a guy who went, I think he was he's a hardcore Vikings fan who had moved, had a good job, was living in the greater Boston area. And this was, again, decades ago. And he goes to see his Vikings take on the Patriots. And this might have even been pre-Belichick, whatever the case may be. He wears Viking braids to the game. And turns out there was a fan behind him who was cranky about, I guess, what he was wearing, and they were going back and forth a little bit, whatever. He didn't think it was going to be anything serious until the guy took out a pair of scissors and decides he's going to cut one of the braids off. The problem was, as he did it, the fan in question had moved his hand back and he ended up slicing his finger almost off. Yeah. Now, again, I'm not sure that's indicative of all Patriots fans, how they handle visitors, but it is a reminder that not all fan bases or even venues are as friendly as others. I happen to believe that, based on what I've heard, and I've had my own experiences, obviously, at Lambeau, it's been a long time, that Green Bay Packers fans tend to be pretty nice to the fans of opposing teams, despite even the rivalries that exist with the Bears, obviously, and the Vikings, etc., that if you were doing a ranking of fan deportment in every arena, every stadium, of how they handle it when they come upon the fans of other teams, I think the Packer fans would actually rank pretty highly. Am I wrong?
No, I don't think you're wrong. I'll put it this way. There was a guy 6 spots away from me that was all decked out in Commander stuff, but not the Commanders, the previous name. Gotcha. And just decked. I mean, he had a parka on, a giant necklace of the old logo, a huge flag that he was waving in everyone's faces. And there were definitely drunk razzing to him.
That's fine.
I would say that every comment made to him, the guy had a huge smile on his face, it was more
good natured.
Yeah,
largely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest problem is handling. I was fully convinced I was going to get thrown up on by the guy behind me. I mean, he looked toasted.
Who was a Packers fan?
Oh, of course.
But I guess that goes without saying.
Yeah. So that's
did he ever upchuck?
He didn't, thankfully.
God, but he had it written all over him.
It looked like he could have fell over at any point in time. And I don't, for the record, because I'm not a big drinker anymore.
Right.
I'm out on that.
Good for you.
So it just doesn't do anything for me, and I hate being around it.
I think it's good that you figured it out at a relatively young age as well. Emailer, this is from 763 guy. He thinks that I'm not discussing the elephant in the football room. Dan, let's get into the real story. Packers handily beating 2 good playoff teams in 5 days. Packers controlling both games the whole way. Both opponents happen to be in the last 2 NFC Championship game. Lions 2 years ago, Commanders last year. You were there. Mm-hmm. They're off to a very distinguished start. There's not any question about it. And I think the scary thing I see early is, regardless of the offense, this is the kind of defense that looks to me like you're going to be in every damn game, even on weeks where Jordan Love is in or out and maybe throwing a bad pick. This defense looks pretty legit.
Yeah, the pass rush is elite. I think the DBs are kind of the underrated story. Keyshawn Nixon had an unbelievable game, 5 or 6 pass breakups, and they just left him on islands too with Terry and their receivers because they were willing to play man and just let Micah and co just go after Daniels. So I'm really happy with that. The 2 O-linemen being out, I thought played a part. I think it could have been even worse had the O-line been. There were some just free blitzers where Love just basically to spike it essentially to get out of sack. So if that gets cleaned up a little bit more, I mean, it could have been even worse. The delusion, I can feel it building in my body, just that complete and utter delusion.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's early. We all get that. Season, the ebb and flow of a season for even good teams is crazy, but you can't ask for a better start. Now, again, both games were at home. You got that going for you. But they handled 2 good teams or teams coming off good seasons with pretty significant authority, right? I don't think either game ever felt like the Packers were in any kind of significant jeopardy. And you add a great, player to a defense that was already looking to be pretty good. They're going to be. I'm not giving up on the Lions completely. I think that's the case of you can overreact off of one game, especially since they get to play the Bears at home this week. But the Packers look like they're going to be quite formidable within this division, and the Vikings are going to have to reckon with that sooner or later. Let's get a pause in now. Prediction segment, award-winning prediction segment. No, it is not with Carl Gerbschmidt. Don't blame me. Don't blame us. Carl has made the decision to move on. And I don't know if this is sort of like Kaprizov, whether this is kind of posturing or whether there's something to it. All I know is he ain't doing the prediction segment this week. And we thought it would be a great opportunity to catch up with our old friend Mike Tice. You were about to say?
Well, I was just going to say I did meet up with Gerby in the parking lot yesterday. But, we just decided, just like Bill Guerin, we have better things to do than to worry about contract negotiations, so we just kicked the can down the road for later.
Yeah, well, and that could be exactly what happened.
I can't imagine it would go poorly for us.
No, not at all. No chance whatsoever. Iron Mike Tice, as I like to call him. I used to be his partner on radio. Mike Tice Live. Are you kidding me? I still maintain the best coaches radio show ever done, largely because there was, at any given show, there was nothing Mike Tice would not say. And there was no arguing that we couldn't do back and forth. So we'll reminisce with Tice. We'll talk about his new podcast. I think he just filed his third podcast of this young season. We'll get caught up on what he's up to these days, where he's even living these days. In any case, Mike Tice. Not Mike Tice Live is in the old show, but yeah, Mike Tice Live, he is now.
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21+.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time. And this season, the only meat going on the grill is Dietz and Watson. Some of my favorites are the Black Angus Dietz dogs, the Italian-style chicken sausage, and the Asiago spinach chicken sausage, just to name a few. Oh, and I love the jalapeno mustard. It's flavor-packed, and you could just tell Dietz and Watson uses the highest quality meats in every bite. Dietz and Watson was born in Philly in 1939, and they've been doing it the right way ever since. Visit DietzandWatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Bailey Zimmerman just announced his biggest tour yet, the 2026 Different Night Same Rodeo Tour, hitting over 30 cities across the U.S. and Canada. Following his sold-out 2025 run, Bailey is bringing his electrifying live show to even bigger stages in 2026, with stops in major cities like Nashville, Boston, Atlanta, Toronto, and more. His new album, Different Night Same Rodeo, is out now, featuring the #1 hit Backup Plan with Luke Combs, plus fan favorites like Lost with the Kid Laroi, Holy Smokes, and Holding On. The sophomore album showcases Bailey's signature blend of rock-powered country and heartfelt storytelling, making it a must-listen for fans old and new. Fans can elevate their night with VIP packages that include premium seats, exclusive merch, and access to Bailey's pre-show soundcheck party. With new music, massive energy, and a can't-miss tour on the horizon, now's the time to get your tickets. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Life moves fast. A new home, a new baby, a new chapter. But without an estate plan, your future's still vulnerable. With Trust and Will, you can name guardians, start a trust, create healthcare directives, and more. All online in about an hour. It's attorney-designed, state-specific, and built to protect what you love. Plans start at just $199, and every plan is safe, secure, and kept completely private. From families with young kids to adults caring for aging parents, Trust and Will makes it simple to take control. Without a law office, paperwork stress, or court delays. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO to save 20%. Start your plan today. Don't wait for life to force your hand. Estate planning is one of the smartest, most loving things you can do. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Next down.
40, he could go. 50, intercepted. Caught, and a touchdown. To the 10, he will score.
It's time for the Bumper to Bumper award-winning NFL prediction segment on the Fan. Brought to you by Continental Diamond. Now, to help you break down this week's games, here's your favorite NFL wonk, Dan Barreiro.
What a special occasion it is to how refreshing will this particular prediction segment be without the whiny nature of one Carl Gerbschmidt. Instead, we get the dulcet tones of our old friend, co-host of a program called Mike Tice Live. Yes, indeed, it's Mike Tice. How are you, man?
Hey, man, I am so great. I'm just so honored to take the place of your previous host or guest. Or
Gerby?
whatever.
Yeah. You have no idea what small shoes.
Did you say Kirk Herbstreit? Is that
no, that's close. Very close. He thinks he is, but he really isn't. How are you, first of all?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much. I am still married to Diane. She hasn't got rid of me yet.
Have you moved again, by the way?
Beautiful.
Have you moved again? Where do you live now?
Oh, God. I live where my grandkids live. I have 3 grandkids, I was going to say, and I am in Vegas. I'm sitting in my living room in Vegas.
Excellent.
Right now, and I am heading on a flight to St. Louis. I flew in from St. Louis last night. I have this new TV show, local show, that I tape in Henderson, Nevada.
And that's the new podcast, right? That's we call it a show, a podcast. How would you describe
Fox. It's not really a podcast.
Okay.
But it's on Fox.
Nice.
And it runs late, in the wee hours of the morning, like midnight.
That's okay.
And then they put it on YouTube.
Nice.
And so it's fun.
I've seen it. It's good.
Engaged.
Yes.
Danny boy.
Well, what I've noticed is, I think that's why I said the other day when I mentioned we were going to have you on. I feel like you're reconnecting a little bit with the National Football League, because there have been times I felt like, okay, I did it, I'll move on. I'm not going to pay as much attention to it as I did. Now I feel like this is re-energizing you with your connection to the league.
It really has, and as you as a friend and very observant young man you are, it has. It's re-engaged me. I'm back to watching film again on NFL Plus, and I'm having to read everything that comes out from NFL Communications. I listen to watch all the shows, and some I don't like, but I watch anyway.
Yes.
And it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's outstanding. I watched, I think, episode 1. A good chemistry with the host, and it's a nice overview. I think it's a nice, breezy, but you get into some good analysis too. So it's not. Some of the shows for me get a little too heavy. But I want analysis from former coaches and players like you are, and I think there's plenty of that as well. So you seem to be enjoying it so far.
Yeah, and like any team, we're trying to get better every week. We always have our after-action meeting. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? Where can we gain some rhythm? This, that, and the other thing. And I thought today we taped our best show. Obviously, it was our 3rd show, so it better be our best show. So we'll see how it goes. They just sent it to me. I got to look at it before I put it out.
Put it out there
on X.
Oh, by the way, so how do people who are interested, if they can follow you on X, but are there other ways? Can they go straight to YouTube? What's the best way for them to find your stuff?
Well, the station is telling me to say go to Silver State, and that's their YouTube thing. But I just tell people go right to the show.
Okay,
and it's Coach's Cut, CUT, kind of like the coach's side of it.
Yeah,
with Mike Tice. Pretty simple. Coach's Cut with Mike Tice, and everyone that I've sent that to has been able to find it. There's a Silver State something or other. I should know, shouldn't I?
No, that's okay. Well, I keep sending it to me, and then I like retweeting it, and then we get a lot of people who are kind of reminded of it, and I think it'll start. I think part of it is just people getting into the habit of doing it for sure. I think that's a big part.
Well, and I appreciate you retweeting, because when you and Paul PA retweet, I get a lot of hits, and then I get a lot of nice emails or text messages from friends. Oh, excellent. That was cool.
Yeah.
What PA and Danny Boy sent out. Thanks a lot. Boom, boom, boom. So you guys are great. I appreciate it.
No, it's the least we can do. Where does the St. Louis trips fall into this though? What's that got to do with it? You said.
Well, we've been going to St. Louis for years. My daughter married a boy from.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they've been together forever. They've lived there.
Okay.
They've owned a home over by Tower Grove Park, which is closer to downtown kind of area, and that's where they live, and that's where my precious granddaughter lives. So I gotta go see my granddaughter. We don't go there quite as much as we're in Las Vegas.
Gotcha.
Las Vegas, we have this older, too big of a house for 2 of us, and in St. Louis we have a condo with no deck, so it's kind of like
yes.
closing in.
Right. Get a little claustrophobic, maybe. Yeah, I understand that. Well, at least you got some options.
Maybe a tad.
Yeah,
fresh air is a good thing.
Before we get to the picks, we got 3 games that we're choosing. Obviously, one of them will be the Vikings. Let me get your quick read. It's been a few days now, obviously, but your quick read on the Vikings opener again. Well, you know both teams very well. You work for both teams, Vikings and Bears. What did you take out of that Monday night opener that was such a startling reversal between really the first 2.5, almost 3 quarters to the last quarter?
Yeah, well, it's a tale of two quarterbacks, 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different halves. And my take was, Caleb came out scripted.
Yeah.
Those early plays, he had a lot of check downs. He had one intermediate throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was kind of his flair. He didn't have a terrible game, Williams, but when he had to make a play, he didn't make a play.
You're right.
And he certainly doesn't stay in the pocket. When his first read's not there, he bolts.
Yep.
Okay, so that's my surmise on the Bears. The Vikings, on the other hand, delay a game early in the first half. They had some clocks going down to almost 1-0 seconds, so there was some rhythm issues there between Kevin and the quarterback and what they were trying to do. And then, they started to run the ball a little bit more.
Yes.
They got a little rhythm. The kid McCarthy's a gritty sucker, man. I love him. He's great, and the Vikings hung in there. Kevin certainly got a rhythm. The kid stepped into his throws and hung in the pocket way better than Williams did.
Yes.
And when it came time to make the plays that you were afforded to make to win the game, J.J. McCarthy made them, and quite frankly, Caleb Williams did not make them.
No.
And so I liked it was a good game for the Vikings, to build some crustiness and some toughness and, coming back like that. Now all of a sudden you start believing and anything can happen.
Let me ask you.
Now, I know they have some injuries this week.
They do. The defense is kind of beaten down already. And although in fairness to the Bears, I think the Bears are out without 3 or 4 defensive starters, including corners. Then again, the Vikings were without their number 2 receiver, and obviously Darisaw didn't play either. So that's a part of the game, as you know.
Harrison Smith didn't
and
play,
Harrison
right?
Smith. That's an excellent point. That's very true. Real quick, because before we get to predictions on the game itself, going into that draft, the Penix, J.J. McCarthy draft, the word here was that the Vikings liked them both. And in fact, that within the building, there were some people who actually liked Penix more, and they expected when they were picking to have a chance to choose between the two. And then Atlanta surprised everybody by taking Penix at number 8. What were your perceptions of Penix and McCarthy coming out of college during that draft?
Well, first of all, there were 6 quarterbacks drafted in the top 12, and I said on my show today, is that going to be another 1983 with Marino and Elway and Kelly? Because the May kid, I'm not giving up on him either. He was picked 3rd.
Yep.
But the Penix kid, being that I lived in Seattle and watched him a little bit and follow the Huskies, he is really, really special. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you watch his game against Tampa Bay, let me tell you something. He's accurate. He can get to the second receiver, like JJ can a little bit, get to the second receiver. He's big. He hangs in the pocket. He moves around. He scrambles a little bit. He took the lead in the game late in the game on a quarterback scramble and dove and athletically didn't put his knee down. And then of course, Baker goes down and beats him in the last, waning seconds of the game or whatever. But this kid Penix is special now.
Yeah. I think he's got a chance to be really, really good. I don't think there's any question about that. And again, I think McCarthy represents the sort of QB that people said, okay, just because he wasn't asked to do everything the way Penix was in college, because Michigan didn't need him to, doesn't mean it's not in him. That in other words, he might be one of those guys where the ceiling is higher than you think, simply because he's just got to be given a chance to develop that aspect of his game. Do you think his ceiling is that high?
I do. And let me just give you an example of quarterback play. It's called quarterback play. It's not called thrower. Jalen Hurts. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl. It's the point of playing quarterback is to win the games. And I just feel like this kid has the background, playing under Jim Harbaugh, who's kind of a quarterback whisperer. Yep. I mean, look already what he's done with Justin Herbert already. And I think this kid has got the talent. He wasn't asked to do so much because, that's not the style of Jim. He's trying to win the games. And I like McCarthy. When he made that run for that touchdown and ran over the tight end, I kind of fell in love with him a little bit.
Yeah, understandably so. If you're wondering why you're not listening to Carl Gerbschmidt today, it's because Gerby might be done with us. Apparently, there's a contractual issue, and so I thought it was the perfect opportunity. I got to admit, it was a texter last Friday who said, you ought to have on Tice because we haven't had you on in a while. So this worked out perfectly, especially with your new endeavor as well. So Mike Tice is kind enough to join us for today's predictions segment. We got 3 games. Let me give you our first game, Mike. It's the Denver Broncos at Indianapolis, and we've got it listed as the Colts. Colts are favored by 1.5. Is that right, Brett Blakemore? Is that correct?
That's what I've got.
Homestanding Colts favored by 1.5.
Well,
over that doesn't sound right to me.
Oh, no, I flipped it.
Well,
I already screwed up.
I'm looking at the ESPN bet line. I printed it out because I didn't know what games you're doing. But Denver's minus 1.5 on this.
There you go. Okay, so it's Denver minus 1.5 against the Colts. We'll start with you. Who do you like in this game with that spread, Mike?
Well, I like the Colts at home. I think Ty Warren's going to be a good tight end in the league. I like the quarterback. People don't realize he's done it, and now he's not in New York, and he's relaxed. I think, I go with the Colts.
I'm agreeing. I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to go with the coach on that one as well. I'm going to believe in Danny Dimes, who, of course, we had here for a couple of minutes. Brett Blakemore in for I should say, well, sort of for Gerby, one could say, but also for Justin Guard. What do you got in this game, Brett?
Yeah, I was hoping maybe Guardsy would get his pick in. He has yet to respond. I'm assuming he's still on the plane, so I'm just going to pick for him. I'm going to be different because you have to be different in this game to
be
win.
Successful. Yeah.
So I'm going to go Broncos to cover that.
All right, game 2. Go ahead. You're going to say, Mike?
Well, I was going to say, the Broncos could come in there and kick their butts. They had all kinds of turnovers. They were an anomaly. They won a game last week, the only team in the league with a -2 turnover ratio. So the Broncos are a good team. I just think the Colts might ride that high right now.
That's possible, or at least especially early in the season. All right, so I think for like the second time in forever, the Kansas City Chiefs are an underdog at home. It's not a huge underdog, but I've got them at 1.5 point underdogs to the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. We'll start with Mr. Tice again on this game. What do you see?
Well, I can give you a couple of little tidbits on that. Last year, there were only 2 teams that won all their home games. One was the Chiefs and one was the Bills. Well, the Bills won their first home game, and of course, Kansas City was in Brazil. And another stat, of the 10 times the Super Bowl teams, have played the next season, the Super Bowl winners won 7 of 10. So there's 2 stats for you.
Interesting.
Can you tell I live in Vegas?
You got to. Yeah, I mean, you got to, man, if you're going to be there, you got to live it. You can't ignore it, right? So what do you think?
Yeah.
Who covers?
What's the spread?
1.5. Road Eagles, favored by 1.5 in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Because
I just told you they've won 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
the Super Bowl.
That's enough. All right.
They've won 7 out of 10, and I just don't think that the Chiefs' defense is built to stop the running game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think it's possible. We are really in live time and real time seeing the end of the run for Kansas City. I know as long as you got Mahomes, you can never count them out. But I think we saw signs of it, as odd as this sounds, even though they made the Super Bowl last year, just the way they won the whole year was not as dominant. And that opener, I'm also going to go Eagles. So I'm agreeing with the coach on the first two. Brett Blakemore, are you going to go contrary again?
I'm not. I think the Eagles. We've been calling for the demise of the Chiefs for it feels like years now, but there's so many injuries. I don't even care if Worthy plays because he probably will be on a snap count anyways. So give me the Eagles on the road.
The game that, of course, matters here more than any other is the Vikings hosting the aforementioned Atlanta Falcons. The Vikings are favored. Our spread we're going with is favored by 3.5 points. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't have to pick the Vikings, right?
No, absolutely not. You pick what you believe, especially with the spread.
I'm going to get crushed if I go with the spread and take the 3.5 points, but I'm going to take them.
You're going to take them. Atlanta, you think, is tricky, and you also maybe are a bit bothered by the injuries to the Vikings defense?
Partially, yes, but I'm just telling you, Penix is special.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens with those injuries, and we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping the Vikings win, but by 3.
Falcon, I think it's a close game, and I am, because of that extra half point, I'm going to go with Atlanta. And I also think, because of the way the game ended, it's almost like people think the Vikings are going to go undefeated. Not all of it's going to be easy. Atlanta is not a great team, but given the injuries to the defense, I like Penix like you do. They've got some nice offensive weapons on that club. I will also take Atlanta to cover. Blakemore?
Yeah, this is why we need to keep the football with the real football people and leave plebs like me, because I've been long a Penix denier. Just something about, I don't know if it's left-handed. I have no evidence.
You can't handle a left-handed thing.
I just don't. Something just doesn't. I don't like it. But again, if Tice likes it, I'm probably need to go back to the all 22s. But in spirit of Guardsy, he would probably take the Vikings, so I'm going to go Vikings.
You're going to go Vikings as well. Okay, that's fair. That's reasonable. That is, of course, the Sunday night game. You were saying, Mike?
Oh, I'm going to get some hate mail now.
No, people want honesty.
It's the spread. It's the spread.
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
the spread.
No, I think it's very fair. I was reminding people before you came on how much fun we had doing the Mike Tice live show. I still get comments from people from time to time who listen to that thing because it was so different than most of the coaches' shows. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like now KOC's good. He's receptive. He's available, and he's good. I enjoy listening to him, but I mean, we never knew exactly what was going to happen when we had you on, right? Because sometimes it was you and me arguing, sometimes it was Randy Moss calling in. There was this.
Oh my God!
Remember that? Oh, that was so good. I'll never forget it. And that was right after the. Was that after the I play when I want to play stuff? I can't remember exactly what it was.
I can't remember when it was because I'm old, but it was something.
It was a lot of fun. It was fun. It was fun to do it because, like I said, I felt like you just said, "What the hell? I'm just gonna go with it." And most of those shows are they seem very scripted, And I think you liked being off script a little bit. Maybe that's not good when you're a head coach. I don't know, but I enjoyed it.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm off script too much.
Well, here's the thing, though. I have said this too. I don't want to go through ancient history because I know it doesn't really matter to you now. But again, I compare the support and the facilities, state of the art across the board that now exists compared to what you guys were dealing with, and I think that does have to be put into the equation when people attempt to evaluate what you did and what went on way back then. I really think that should be part of the story.
I do too, but I'm not going to go there. But maybe one day you and I can write a book about it.
Okay, maybe, yeah. Well, you know who wants to write a book with me? And I have him on every week.
We could keep the boat out of there and the Super Bowl tickets.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl tickets, yeah. Well, did you feel, by the way, speaking of that, did you feel like any better when we found out there was another ticket scandal more recently that the NFL talked about? Did it make you feel better or did it just bring up bad memories?
I didn't even see it. Sorry.
You missed it?
I didn't pay attention until the season started.
It's a while ago during the summer, yeah. And I don't remember. I don't even know if the coaches have been identified in this case. You were most assuredly identified, as I recall.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It was always ridiculous, and it's still ridiculous. You know what? Reselling tickets is because I'm not going to go there.
No, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Well,
no, it's all right.
By
it's
the
all
way,
right, man. You know what? I got 3 great grandkids, a great wife, and 2 great kids, and a lot of friends, in Minnesota. And I'm just proud to be able to come on with you and chop it up a little bit, and hopefully we can do it again. Yeah,
make sure you post the latest episode of your show, and I'll make sure I'll retweet it and pass it along so people can get a good. So basically, you guys pick a couple of trends, or you pick a couple of 3 games and emphasize them, or do you just try to cover everything?
No, 4 segments. Doing a half-hour show, Dan, is with commercial, it's 22 minutes of talking.
Right. Yes.
So the first segment is we're calling it Jimmy's and Joe's in tribute to Coach Jerry Burns. And the first guest I had, I'll tell you, I have to go to the second segment before you know why I'm doing Jimmy's and Joe's. But it's about the hot players. We talked about the quarterback situation. We talked about the Ohio State receiver tree and why is that? Because of the wide receiver coach played in the NFL, Heartline, and stuff like that. So that's segment A. It's like 5-something minutes. Right. Segment B is an interview. So my first 2 weeks, I interviewed Pete Carroll, who's the coach of the Vegas. And we talked about Jerry Burns, because he worked for Jerry as a defensive back coach. Yep. And we talked about Jimmy's and Joe's. It's not about the X's and O's. Right. And so, so now the first segment is properly named it's the Jimmy's and Joe's segment. Segment B is an interview. This week I had on Brian Billick talking about analytics and AI. Okay? Yeah. And then segment C is, what do the Raiders have to do to win this week? And who are their game records that we got to worry about? Right. So it's a quick synopsis on the game. It is a local Vegas show. It's got to be Vegas. Okay, because it's on Fox. Yep. And then segment D is odds and ends, kind of a spin off and it even has my old logo from my podcast during COVID. Right. Odds and ends with Mike Tice. I'm on a horse holding a racing form, whatever. And we talk about anything. This week we continued on from the Brian Billick interview and talked about things that you have to do to win and get in the playoffs. And that was this week's show. It comes out tonight, actually. Yeah, that's a good mix. Yeah. I was going to say, and the beauty of your connection in the National Football League is you're going to get good guests. I mean, that's a great start right there. You're going to get good people because they know you and you've got good relationships that you've been able to hold on to. And that's the key for the interview section, as you said. Well, getting the interview section from head coaches, which I'm trying to stick to, is hard. Like even Kevin, and Kevin's going to come on at some point this season. Nice. I'm praying that they win by 3 because, and he comes on because I've been told he's going to come on after these 2 first national TV games. Nice. So I can't say he's going to come on next week. Who knows what's going to happen in the game. And but he's going to come on at some point. I got Marshawn Lynch is going to come on at some point. I got Andy Reid's going to come on at some point. So I'm trying to. You know how it works. Yeah. Trying to schedule out. That's what you got to do. Last item for today. Have the Green Bay Packers done enough the first 2 weeks, in your mind, to become the team to beat in the NFC North this season? Ooh, they are good. They are the youngest team in the league. They've built this team, pretty damn good. I still question a couple O-line positions. They were one of the teams I talked about in show number 1. They were playing the Lions, and it was clear to me that even though the Lions have a lot of weapons, and then they had 2 coordinator changes, but the Packers were a team that is going to be reckoned with, and that's because Love has grown up, and he's taken the next step. So that's going to be the NFC North, in my opinion, and maybe the AFC West are going to be in just my opinion, the 2 toughest. The 2 toughest divisions this year. A couple texts I want to mention really quick before we go. This is from Luke in Maple Grove. Great to have Tice back. Happy to hear he's doing well and is as honest as he was back on Mike Tice Live. Would love to hear him on Bumper to Bumper more. That's, as I said, Luke in Maple Grove. Dan just jumped on, writes Mike in New Richmond. But tell Mike how much I enjoy Nate's podcast, Chip Off the Old Block. That's Mike from New Richmond. I mean, Nate's doing
thoughtful business, isn't he?
Yeah, Nate's killing it. Nate's doing extremely well. He's actually is in Minnesota for a wedding. One of his best friends in the world, Edina graduate, Tommy Carter's getting married this weekend. So he's back there with all his fellas, and left his poor wife Lauren with the two young kids. I went over yesterday, tried to, for an hour and tried to help, but I'm in the way. And so Big Nate's back there with his boys. I don't know what their plans were. I'm staying out of it. Hopefully no boat parties. But those boys are, Nate's back in Minnesota right now. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm sorry. He's doing great. I'm proud of him. I'm glad he got out of coaching because coaching sucks. And I'm glad to see that he's just crushing it and carving his own niche in the world. And I'm proud of him.
Great to catch.
Dinah Hornet.
There you go, Dinah Hornet. There you go. Great to catch up as always, my friend. We'll try to do a better job of staying in touch and keep the shows coming our way, and we'll make sure we pass them along.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure, man. Be good. Thanks, Mike.
All right, bye.
Mike Tice, formerly of Mike Tice Live. Man, it's good. It's always good to catch up with him. Brandon is listening from New Mexico. He writes, keep Tice. Tice at least gives intelligent facts and info. All Gerby provides is brat, cheese, and dating talk. Give Tice the straight cash, homie. Back with some A-section conversation next.
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21 plus.
This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Applebee's just cooked up the ultimate option play with their new Ultimate Trio deal. You can choose from 3 of their delicious appetizers and pair them up with 3 sauces for just $14.99. Craft your perfect trio from over 80,000 different combinations in this flavor-packed plate built for one, or to share if you're generous. You could stick with the classic pairings like boneless wings and buffalo sauce, or you could spice things up and try some unexpected combinations like dipping chicken wonton tacos in their honey Dijon mustard. It's time to head to your neighborhood Applebee's or order online today. That's eating good in the neighborhood. This is Julian Edelman from Games with Names. Football is back. That means it's tailgate time, and this season, the only meat I'm going to grill is Dietz and Watson. I'm loving the Black Angus Dietz dogs. They're flavor-packed, and you can tell they are made with the highest quality ingredients. Sundays just got a whole lot better. Visit DietzandWatson.com/therightway to learn more about the Dietz difference.
Wasabi Technologies is purpose-built to free businesses from skyrocketing storage costs and unpredictable egress fees from those old and top-heavy legacy providers. You know, the big guys. Wasabi is the go-to provider for professional and collegiate sports teams around the world. From Wasabi's AI-enabled intelligent media storage, Wasabi Air, to the industry's only cloud storage service with triple protection against cyber criminals, Wasabi is driving innovation in data storage. All for up to 80% less than those other guys. Try them out for free at wasabi.com.